Let's take another email on the comment wall, see where this one is from. Manchester, UK. Thomas, there's a clear policy to shut you guys down, by the way, whether it's about Israel, Ofcom, whatever. I've just come across that WikiLeaks cable. Shocking. Anyway, what I want to say is that Bahrain's king is dead, isn't he? Politically, I mean. How can he continue receiving respect from Western governments? Well, Thomas, as you saw, he was welcomed on the steps of Downing Street by our own Prime Minister, David Cameron. And then when he went to Washington, he actually got a meeting with President Barack Obama. This at a time when you would have thought that Interpol were issuing a warrant for his arrest on suspicion of crimes against humanity. Now, an indefatigable campaigner against torture and murder in Bahrain is Professor Shakespeare. And I think we've got him on the line now. Professor Shakespeare?
Yes, sir.
Well, when I was in Geneva just last week, attending the United Nations, I saw that you were rattling their windows and shaking their doors on behalf of the Bahraini people. So congratulations to you. Where do you stand on this UNESCO business? This is a rum idea, isn't it?
Well, the purpose of UNESCO is to contribute to peace and security by promoting education, science and culture, and here it comes, to further respect for justice, the rule of law and human rights. Now, the ruling Khalifa family is a quarter-educated, culturally barren group of vicious torturers and killers. They've no moral basis for their rule, no political basis and no cultural basis. They're really low-class, unsuccessful thugs who, to give themselves kudos and an aura of success, try to buy the F1 motor race. But people like you, George, and many hundreds of thousands have managed to stop that. And goodness me, these killer barbarians are attempting to buy culture, education and science by hosting an anniversary of UNESCO. And in their offer to UNESCO, they said their aim was to stop extremism amongst young people. Now, you can't make this up. A bunch of barbarian killers claim they're against extremism, yet at this moment they're embarked on a large-scale campaign to eradicate all the culture and traditions of Bahrain. There's a whole-scale cultural and religious onslaught on 95% of the population. Mosques are being razed, festivals prevented, mourners beaten up, and like all barbarians in history, when faced with something they don't understand, I refer to a piece of poetry, they lash out violently and put the young poetess to torture and imprisonment for a year. The Khalifas are a bunch of uncultivated and disgusting goons.
Well, that may be the most eloquent telephone call I have ever received, not just here on this show. Professor Shakespeare, just let me add one thing. The Formula One debacle was stopped in its tracks. How can we stop UNESCO making this crime against the heritage of Bahrain by sending their organization there for a conference? What can we do to stop that?
This is ultimately political, and it's up to people on this program to realize that they did, by their efforts, going to their organizations, their trade unions, to their MPs, by getting off their backsides and writing emails. If they do nothing else, you can affect the political process, and you can get the pressure out there so that you, as today, you get an assistant secretary, a very miserable, snivelling man, basically being forced to admit that they are supporting the torturers. We can get them out into the open if we all do what we are capable of doing, which at the least is to start with writing an email. A letter is better, an email is better, protest is a good thing. And when we do this, we can shame the Americans, and we can get UNESCO to start, and we have nothing to do with these crooks and killers like the Khalifas of Bahrain.
Well, look, Professor, I have 100,000 followers on Twitter and Facebook on my George Galloway MP Facebook page. They won't let me take MP out of it, I'm afraid. There's almost 60,000 members alone. If you'll let me have the address at which we can email UNESCO directly, I'll put it up there, and let's you and I together rattle their cage on this. It really would be an obscenity to have UNESCO have a conference in a place where heritage is being destroyed, not to mention the lives of the people on the island. Thank you very much indeed for that really powerful, coruscating telephone call. I'm much obliged.